This is a story I used to call How Jason Priestley Fucked Me Up the Ass, and it actually got one of my YouTube channels deleted. Probably the title was a little bit too explicit back in the day, but here's how it goes. In about 2007, 2008, I was trying to get into the film industry. I had done my studies in film, production and post production, acting and directing. I managed to register with the DGC, Directors Guild of Canada, and the IATSE union, the union that takes care of a lot of the trades that happen on film sets. And one morning, at about 5 a.m., I got a phone call and it said, "Hey, can you get down to this location? It shouldn't be too far from you. We need somebody urgently." And the location was probably about a 10-minute jog from where I was living. So I got all my gear together, headed down there real quick. One of the best things about working on film sets is craft services. So I always try to get there early when you're broke, poor, and trying to get into the industry. Free food is the best thing in the world. And craft services used to always give you like these fancy breakfast burritos and coffees and lattes and all sorts of cool stuff. Now, lunch and dinner, even better, depending on the production and the crew. So there I was, stuffing my face with a breakfast burrito. Back then, smoking cigarettes was cool, so you stuffed your face, you got a cigarette, you got a coffee, you're just kind of chilling, enjoying the moment. I look over to the side and I see the sign. It says, "Photos with Jason Priestley." Now, one of the things about being a trainee on set, or a grip trainee or any other trainee, is you don't really always get to know what production you're working on. They keep that stuff really hush hush. So I thought it was just this inside joke. I didn't know Jason Priestley was filming a movie, and I kind of laughed it off. So I'm stuffing my face, eating my breakfast burrito, and this little guy comes up to me. He's just staring at me. Obviously, I'm cramming this food in. Probably looks a little bit strange, so he's probably in amazement as to what I'm doing here. And then it gets really uncomfortable. He's just staring. It's about a good 30 seconds. He's just got his eyes locked on my face, stuffing my face. And I say, "Hey man, breakfast burritos, freaking best thing in the world." And he kind of stared for a few more seconds, turned away, and left. And I thought to myself, odd. That was weird. I mean, most sets you interact with a lot of characters. Maybe he's an actor. Who knows? Anyways, turns out I heard a conversation. I saw somebody posing for the photo. It was indeed Mr. Beverly Hills 90210, Jason Priestley. And I had just done the one no-no. Don't talk to the talent. Don't talk to the directors. You're a trainee. You're a nobody. And this was going to bite me in the ass later on. So throughout the entire shoot, anytime Jason Priestley was outside, he would just give me this stare down. I was at the grip cart, just getting the stare down, getting some stuff set up, get the stare down. At one point, I was asked to just stand by the grip cart. So I'm at the grip cart, nobody's there, everybody's inside shooting some stuff, and on the side door of the building, Jason Priestley staring me down. This dude stared me down for a good 5 minutes. Finally, at some point, I get this call on the radio. It says, "Hey, we need you to bring, 10 items from the grip cart, get it set up inside." While I'm getting it set up, these guys are prepping for a dolly shot. A dolly shot's that big rig that sits on the tracks. You get those smooth moving pictures with the camera. It's a very expensive piece of equipment. So these guys are leveling it. I'm setting up the light stands. I'm sandbagging them to keep them in place. And something happens in the background. The dolly comes rolling down towards me. I see the end of the track. I brace it with my body. I take like an impact that prevents it from falling over. And this freaking guy comes out of nowhere. It wasn't Jason Priestley this time, but it was just, I think they're called the dolly grip. He comes out, he's like, "Don't touch the fucking dolly grip, man. This is my job. This is my gear. This is my cart." They're very onerous. Some of these guys are very onerous of their tasks. So I just saved a dolly and a camera rig from falling over. I mean, these things are movie production grade, so they're probably at least a good $200,000-300,000, if not even that, maybe even close to $500,000. And I'm just getting chewed out. I'm getting chewed out for touching the dolly grip because it's not my job. But I saved the production $500,000 by not having this thing fall off the rails. I get told that I have to go back outside. I'm not going to be allowed inside. I'm standing at the grip cart, And I look at the side door. Jason Priestley's doing the stare down again. Who knows what somebody told him? But this guy, which he had the meanest look on his face for that night. Anyways, I stand outside. I'm not allowed to go back inside. I can hand stuff off at the door. And then at the end of the night, I'm asked to call the union to figure out my schedule for the rest of the week. Now, when I started this, I was called in at the last minute, so I assumed I'd be working on this set for the rest of the week during the shoot. The union tells me, hey, can't tell you anything more, but you've been requested. You're not allowed to be back on site. You can't be anywhere around the facility. And this is like a public, I think it was Satan in Calgary, Alberta. So there's like paths you got to go to get to the LRT, the light rail train. So they're kind of telling me that I can't even use that path to get to the train, which is my public transit into downtown. And I ask for some feedback. I say, hey, like what's going on? Like you kind of called me up. I showed up at last minute. I think I did a good job. I saved your $500,000 setup from being complete trash. And they were like, nope, can't tell you anything. You've been requested not to be there. And I said, it's Jason freaking Priestley, isn't it? And they hung up on me. And for the rest of that year, I think it might have been like in the fall or something like that, for the rest of the year into the next year, I don't get a single call. Like I check in with the union, I update my training, I pay my dues. I didn't get a single call back. I'm actually still registered with that union. But I never got the status that everybody goes for. You need to get 300 and something hours per year or every 2 years on sets to get the official unionized status. I never got it, and I never got a single call back. Ended up getting some production assistant gigs through the secondary union. And then after a while, I stopped getting calls from them. Like I can actually log into both union websites. My profile is active. I've got my schedule updated. I've got my availability updated, but I've never gotten a single call. I can call them in person. I can say, hey, just making sure I'm on your list. And they'll be like, yep, you're on there. But I think I got blacklisted from that entire incident. Talking to Jason Priestley, saving that gear. I don't know what the interpretation from Jason Priestley was, but I know nobody followed up with me and nobody checked with me to see what was going on. And the more I contemplated, I wonder, was I actually fired for talking to Jason Priestley? Was I fired for touching the gear or saving the gear from falling? Or was there something else? I mean, there's got to be a different side to it, but I was never given that information. I thought it was kind of weird. I thought it was kind of strange. At a pivotal point in my career where I thought I would become somebody in the film industry, it was completely taken from me. You know what? I moved on with life. Almost 20 years later, I got into an IT field. But, you've got to go back to school and get some studies and certifications. But from what I've heard from a lot of people, that's one of the nuances of working in the film industry. 1 minute you've got a career lined up, and the next minute it could be taken away from you like that. And blacklisted. Blacklisting in Hollywood, it's a legit thing. You hear all these stories, but it is legit. And that was the story of how Jason Priestley potentially fucked me in the ass. And trust me, it really did happen.